Mid-October 2025 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails and video clips. I may as well start with the introduction shot a month ago, since it's not much different in terms of the leaves on the trees and things. I'll start with the standard introduction. This is where we live at 22 Armitage Court in Sunninghill, with warning signs about fierce guard cats. Toady is one of them. You may even pick up a QR code there. And this has been known as Robin's Corner from the late 1980s, where GPS was tested on this spot, just down here. And there's the garden sculpture that June got Robin as a birthday present a few years ago. There's the oak tree that sprung up from an acorn. Yes, we've got lots of acorns everywhere. And this is getting into late September now. Everything's coming into lovely flower. Here's the robot boat, Snoopy's robot boat across the Atlantic. And there's Snoopy the Viking. And I've just noticed a vehicle's arrived. It might be a courier, possibly with the mosquito zappers. Yeah, so problems to be sorted on the robot boat, but that's all on the various photo trails. And just recently I've been consulting some AI machines. Right, this is June's car with promotion of the website gpss.co.uk. that was a business many decades ago. It is now hobbies like the robot boat and charitable causes. So coming down drive here, yes, these are projects like the bicycle not yet working, and the cat forts done several years ago now. Yeah, warning signs everywhere, including armed mice, not just cats. Yes, so that's probably enough of that for the moment. And coming towards the front door, here's the camper that was used for taking Snoopy's robot boat down to the coast, and June and Samantha had a holiday for a few days in it down in Cornwall. Yes, here's the battle damage. June said Robin did it. Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. Now, before we go into the house, I've got to point out a few warning signs, and I must hasten to add these are just jokes, because you know what people will say. Anyhow, so we come down and it says closed circuit TV, hidden TV cameras inside and outside this house. Sound and video is monitored in local houses and elsewhere. No trespassing. Violators will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. Just a joke, of course. Yes, cameras everywhere. Lots of them. That's the flatulent fairy. Was to go on up a tree. It might go up a tree next Christmas. What else have we got? Yes, peanuts everywhere for various wildlife. Peanut feeder. That was recently fixed. And yes, another camera down there. Gnomes. Now, these signs are probably the most important. That's my study in there. And do not disturb. I'm disturbed enough already. And maybe this sign, from a health and safety point of view, is the most important of the lot. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock. Beware of web cameras and water squirters loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent. Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Just a joke, of course. Right, I think it's safe to go into the house now, so let's try doing that. And yes, tennis gear. You can see the time, it's just coming up to 12 o'clock British Standard Time. And quick glance into the kitchen, and June watching tennis, the television, just for a change. Yes, that was a big breakthrough, putting in these skylights and these temporary mirrors. That was some time ago now. So this is the kitchen. So now go through. We haven't got to where the real work was done, which was the end of the garden. Yes, doing this on the smartphone because I haven't got a suitable camera and I don't like big clunky ones. So going into the lounge here. Yes, there's Robin's naughty corner where he relaxes, nice furniture, perhaps to have a snack and look at the closed circuit TV. Yes, that was very cheap from a scrapyard, I think, £5. Anyhow, well, tip. Yes, so here is, we've got a cheap PC driving the TV and it's tracking me at the moment, so there we go. You can zoom in, but there's Sunninghill, where we are in Sunninghill. Now, so the lounge hasn't really changed very much, but now I'm going to go into the garden, and where we've done most of the work is down the end. But a few little projects have come along. There's still experimental work going on here. Yes, mosquito zapper, because they're a problem. Now, the pond is filling up at the moment, which is a regular daily ritual. And it's during the winter that we can work seriously on it. But this is a project which is pretty well done now, which is the little Brussels peeing boy. And I think we've got the electrics and everything else about right now. And that reminds me of my trips to NATO headquarters in Brussels in the 70s. Anyhow, that is the top pond. And of course, when it's filled up, and of course, hopefully, all the rainwater comes off the roof and down into it, over there. And yes, there's a concrete lady fountain. And then it overflows into this pond. It's still got a way to go, yeah, because I only set it going half an hour ago. Overflows and goes down the stream. Yes, that's the telescope that I built the optics for as a boy. And no time to do any work on that. There's wild fennel from Sicily. We brought some cuttings back. And not important ingredient. Now, I'm coming down the garden. You may have seen this in the more recent photo trail, but yes, so that's to make it a bit easier to go down the steps. There's the hose running from round the side of the house. So I may as well show a glance of this, because these videos are very much for people into property maintenance. It shows things how not to do them when I make mistakes, but also that some things are very simple. And that's where the electrics, including a car battery and things, are for the driving the pumps. So that's around this side. Load of tidying up needed. But right, this is the second pond. And we did a bit to make a progress of cutting this, and that was Samantha and June helped. And part of it was where I had a bit of an accident, because this hadn't been made secure enough. And luckily Samantha was there to help me untrack myself. Right, we're coming down now. Yeah, flowers. Of course, June's roses, even if you cut them back earlier in the year, they rather obstructing my sundial, but not to worry. You can hear a pigeon in the background, I think. So we're about to go down into the area where real progress has been made. So past the Gunnera manticata, which is the only surviving one we have in the garden at the moment, down into what is a lovely place to sit and relax, particularly in the evening. And you can see the wildlife and the birds and everything. This morning, when I was just checking things out, yes, this will fill up. I found that I think it was a fox. Normally we worry about pigeons, so yes, look at that mess there. Now, the cameras aren't all working, but that's my suspicions, it was a fox. Yeah, so this is coming along very nicely. We've got bulbs planted here, which will be things like bluebells. We've got plenty of scope for putting primroses, and of course the sky has been opened up. We could do more, so particularly when the sun comes across the sky, then this becomes quite a sunny spot, so quite a lot of plants will grow. Most of the plants that we've been putting in are things like mint, which mosquitoes don't like, but we have a mosquito trap. I've ordered 2 more of those for up near the house, and I don't like it if they get moths, but you can see pigeons settle on it, make a mess on the solar panel. Bird feeders. Now down in this end, I've just topped them up recently, but we've got, I think it's 5 bird feeders here. And there's another one up there. Anyhow, this is a lovely spot to sit and relax, including in the evening, and then the solar lights come on. And of course, a lot of those details will be in the photo trail. Now, where an important bit of progress is, because it won't be long and loads of leaves will be coming down, we needed the space to put things, and we used up a lot of space on the compost heaps, but I've increased the height of the compost heap, so we won't be running out of space for dumping stuff. So most of it are cuttings like rhododendron and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's the junk area. We'll tidy that up in due course, including being able to access things like the ladder. I may as well show it. It's been on other photo trails, which is, yes, a few key tools are in there, like chainsaws. Shouldn't be misused, of course. And so coming up the garden, right, anybody who's going to do some lovely flowers starting to come up here already. Not sure what all of them are. June's washing line. Now, this hasn't changed much, but it's worth pointing out. Somebody's got to do mow the lawns. Oh, look for a lawnmower. Oh, there's a lawnmower. There's a strimmer. Uses mains power. Yeah, go for around the other side, and there's an extension lead. And I haven't cut that grass for months now. But if I did want to cut it, the whole job, including getting the tools out, mowing it, putting the grass on the compost heap, putting the tools away, well, possibly half an hour, but not much more. Right, we're coming round into the workshop area here. So for example, there's power here with an extension lead. And this was done some time ago, mostly with the help of Paul from Chobham. And so we've got stuff there. And of course, more tidying up could be done to put tools in the right place. So for example, hammers tend to be in the same area, files and everything else, spanners. So that needs to be worked on in terms of work, because at the end of the day you say what's at the top of the priority list, and some things interrupt others. So we're now coming back up, and we should be running into those photo trails soon. This is June's little patch here. I might as well complete it. So yeah, PIR lights come on. That's her greenhouse. Yes, lots of junk here. And come round, sorry about the politically incorrect water tub, that's important here. That's where the cats can go in and out. This is where the tap is, main tap, and then loads of routes for the water to go to different places. That's where materials, oh yes, that's plastic piping material, wood, and of course various other odds and ends. So working round here, this brings us round to where the dustbins are kept and the at the front. So yeah, you could say this is useful for somebody who wants to case the joint, but I don't think it would be a good idea. Anyhow, so we're about to go into the photo trails, which are just those few days in late September. And so just making sure you see all this. So I haven't really done anything on that. And we're gradually putting things around here into what seems to be the right place. There looks like spare water squirters to be looked on. You can see what the time is there. You see what the temperature is there. What is that? Coming up to 13 centigrade or something like that. Yeah, the barbecue under there. So gradually it'll get tidied up more, but, and of course we've got fishes in the pond. And where's the water level? Where it's coming up, it's probably within an inch or two of overflowing. There's a depth gauge over there. So at the end of the photo trails, there'll be some material that was shot a couple of years ago, which is on two topics. One is well, global warming, which is very important, of course. In short, it's going to happen and you haven't seen anything yet. And the other thing is Robin's experience with the DVLA, Driver Vehicle Licensing Agency. Anyhow, enough of that. Let's go into those photo trails now. I warned you, they will be long photo trails. Monday the 13th of October 2025. Yes, it was a meal at the end of the day down at the Raj Fuj. And with Rono. And, or Rono. And, yes, looks like processing of the very large video early October 2025. Collecting a few days worth of that. And then the photos in the order shot. Looking to the starting to the afternoon. What's that? 13 degrees centigrade. There's Lady, Michelle's pussycat, patrolling the garden. Hello, Lady. Probably my usual routine of going down the end of the garden to top up bird feeders and check in how things are coming along. So, yeah, so it looks like the top pond had topped up and it was now water going down into the bog garden area. That's all as it should be. A bit overcast, you can see. So that's looking okay. Still very few leaves have come down. Oh, that's the gunnerer. And we've got nice new growth, even though one leaf seems to be rather dead. But that's fine. That's the second pond. Looking back up the garden, back up to the top. And yes, that's the top pond. Right. Oh yes, that's those three big tubs of acorns. We've got to shift those down to the bottom of the garden for the squirrels. Oh, those balloons. I thought it was a party. Yes, it's the first birthday of the Blend and Brew Cafe. Been trading for a year now. Looks like I went into the Comrades Club for a little while. And back home. And yes, there's the robot boat with Snoopy the Viking. No work done on that. There's yet another big pile of acorns. So we've effectively got 4 buckets of acorns to be taken down the end of the garden. That's looks like they're still processing, being watched by Lady. Lady's keeping an eye on the processing of that video. It's well, about a day's processing work for those. That speeder computer. And what else? Yeah, a bit of a doze. I've been working hard. Listening to the Radio 4 news. Wasn't all bad news. It looks like the women are off to tennis. That's in the evening. And so they're off to tennis. Oh, what am I going to do? Well, I guess I've forced myself to go down to the village to eat. And Yes, down into the village and into One Stop for some cash. But in fact, that machine wasn't working, so I had to go round to the post office. Much longer walk. So got some cash out, came back past the Cords Hall and the cinema that's been saved, and into the Raj Vuj, and had a couple of onion barges, and there's Rono. And yes, back up into the Comrades Club, relaxed, chatted, and didn't do very much. And back home, yes, 22 Armitage Court. Right, so there's Lady relaxing. That processing is still going on. Oh, that was the football was on in the Comrades Club, and that rat interrupted the game. That's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 14th of October 2025. Yes, that's the shelving on our top patio, and yeah, there's still some junk. We need to find places to stick it. And there's Toadie while the video is uploading to YouTube. That was the early October 2025 video. Yes, a few snaps around the garden. It looks like I'm turning the tap off. It's been filling up the ponds to overflowing. Going down the garden for the usual routine of checking things and topping up the bird feeders. And yes, so there's the stream full because the water's overflowing down and overflowing from the bog garden, just as it should do. So a few snaps around the end of the garden and then make my way back up to the patio area, and 1:45 in the afternoon. Yeah, 16 was, oh well, no, I didn't get a chance to read it properly. Then our temperature's not too bad. June's watching tennis from Stockholm, Sweden, that was, I think. Yes, look at all those acorns to be cleared up and taken down the end. Ah, looks like I went into the blend and brew. And yeah, I went into the Comrades Club for a little while as well. And back home. And whoa, what's that? She says. Ooh. There's Toadie. Yes, the video processing still going on there. Ah, no, it's arrived. There we go. So that video's come out okay. Yep. And it's got subtitles as well. And oh, looks like the women are off for tennis. And guess I'll force myself to go down to the village. Leave Lady there. Yeah, so that's tennis in the evening the women are having. I go down into La Sorrentina. Yes, arancini. Yes, I tend to chop it up before I eat it. And an amusing text if you've got a chance to read. And yes, glass of Pinot Grigio. And into the Comrades Club. Yes. And back home. And I think it was a coincidence of timing that just as I was getting home, the women arrived back from their tennis. Yep, so yes, there's Toadie and Lady in the lounge waiting for us. Hello, Lady. Oh, there we go. Tennis from Brussels. Reminded me of the little peeing boy. So, time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 15th of October 2025. Yes, that's near the end, which is the fox caught on the Ring camera eating the peanuts in the front porch. And I didn't start shooting until, oh, quite late in the afternoon it was, and walked down to the village to eat. And yes, there's the fishmonger from Grimsby, past the Comrades Club, past the Blended Brew that's closed on a Wednesday, and ate at the Anne Marie Bakery, sat outside there. And then it was down over the railway into School Road to the library for a police PCSO meeting. And yes, opposite the school is. And there's that fierce cat at the window just as you go to the door. I bet that frightens a lot of people off. Anyhow, several pictures taken inside the library. Nice meeting, including with Maggie the librarian, covering for Cliff who was away. And then into the Comrades Club for a few minutes. Well, it might have been a bit more than a few minutes. I see an event coming up. And then off back home. Oh yes, spend a little bit of time, join June and Faye chatting. And then back home, and Toadie's been on guard duty. Yes, I wonder when we're going to do something about those. Well, we did actually. And yes, Samantha, back from getting her car MOT'd. That's where they've both been, getting their cars MOT'd. Did I say MOD Delta? No, MOT Tango. Yes, that's me walking to the library and back here. And yes, so June's watching tennis. Look at her tracker. That shows the trip to her MOT. That's it. In Bracknell, the Great Hollands MOT Service Centre. And what else? Well, yes, checking the filling of the ponds, and that's working exactly as it should. And yes, and that was after Samantha and myself actually moved those 3 buckets of peanuts down. And probably in a moment you'll see us doing it on the closed circuit TV. And yes, back up the garden, much as it has been and should be for the moment. Well, a bit untidy, the porch area perhaps. And then round side of the house, yes, turn the tap off. So the ponds have been filled up. Both cars are there now. Yes, and look, those buckets, I don't know what happened there. A picture taken by accident. And yes, probably went to have a look at the closed circuit TV. There is Samantha and I. Yeah, 2 people easily can carry a bucket of what are they? They are acorns. Had a bit of a doze. Listened to the Radio 4 news. June's watching tennis from Riyadh, I think that was. So where am I off to now? Yeah, I was just pointing out that those acorns had been moved. Yeah, down into the village, probably to eat, and possibly into the flame kebab. Yes. Yes, let's have a better picture of Istanbul. Then into the Comrades Club. Yeah, spent a little bit of relaxation there. Not doing very much. And then back home. And yes, June's watching something on the tennis. I think that's the end. The credits going past. And oh yes, that's me arriving back home. And there's Toadie. And there's the foxes caught on the Ring camera in the porch. I say foxes, just one fox there. That's working okay. Looks like I'm shutting down the PCs and the pussycats have decided to sleep in the lounge. So time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 16th of October 2025. Yes, lady likes that spot next to the gollywogs in the lounge. Looks like coming up to midday, and yes, Toadie's relaxing, and of course it's pub lunch. Oh yeah, that's some work needs to be done, clearing up those acorns. And yes, pub lunch was at the Duke of Edinburgh, Woodside, Ascot, with a group of grumpy old men, and enjoyed that. And then back home, I check a few things in the house, And yes, Toadie's garden, not very well, usually sleeping there. And so I pop in briefly. June's watching tennis from Ningbo, China, I think that was. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was in the Duke of Edinburgh. And yes, the tracker he wears, pensioner tracker. And then across the road, yes, leave lady there. That's Michelle's pussycat. And Toadie, supposedly on guard duty. Across the road to Richard and Face for coffee, biscuits, chat. And then back, yeah, now and a bit of work needed there really. All those acorns have been there for ages. I wonder if I can get Samantha to help. Well, I don't think Lady will help. And, oh yes, there you are, closed circuit TV shows. Samantha helped me shovel up the acorns and carry what was effectively 2 buckets round to the back. And that heap, it was just the job. So squirrels want acorns, they know where to go. And the pond has been topping up and overflowing as it should into the bog garden. There's the gunner coming up the garden. June's greenhouse round the side. Turn the tap off. And oh yes, 1 bucket left there, and the tools to be brought round the back. And what else? Not a lot really. Just a few snaps. Time to relax. Yes, job well done. And June's watching tennis from Stockholm now. And Lady's still there. Yes, mustn't work too hard, Lady. Temperature's not too bad, 12 degrees centigrade. There's no wind to speak of, which helped a lot. So, a few more snaps. Now, I think it's getting later in the evening, so obviously the evenings are drawing in now. So I was relaxing down there and well, basically checking out things like the bird feeders. So during the day, practically all that food had gone. So to the box where we keep the bird feed and top the 5 bird feeders up. There's one of them. Yeah, there's another. There's another. And a 4th, and the 5th one is there. Yeah, so 10 to 6. And well, some of those are movement detector lights, but that light had come on, probably a more shady spot, so it comes on a few minutes earlier than the other lights. And now we've got all 3 lights on in the space of about 20 minutes, I think that was. So coming back up the garden, and various lights are coming on, like the decorative ones that June got, and that was a little present from Samantha, I think. A hedgehog with a light. Oh, and hello Lady. June watching tennis, of course. And looks like I'm thinking of going down to the village for forcing myself to have something to eat. So where shall we go tonight? La Sorrentina. So glass of wine, arancini, cut it up to eat it and put the sauce on it, and tricolour, and also cheesecake to finish off. And into the Comrades Club for a little while, just relax, and back home. Yes, into the house. June's watching tennis, that's a change. Yes, there's Lady still in her spot she likes. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 17th of October 2025. Most significant thing was probably Binky, the one-eyed cat from over the fence behind us. their family coming round. And anyhow, more of that later. 20 past 12 in the afternoon, temperature coming up to 13 degrees. A few snaps around the garden. That was a glimpse of Toadie. And probably my usual routine of checking things out. Yeah, the flowers are coming up lovely, including the primroses. And this is, well, getting towards late October. Down the garden, probably did my usual thing of topping up bird feeders and things, but yeah, looks like I've been running the tap to fill up not only the top pond and the next pond, but the bog garden down the end. Not quite overflowing at that time. A few snaps around, so you can see the state of the garden, quite good down there now. Just for the record, you can see what plants are shedding leaves, none practically yet. Yes, that's looking into the second pond. And yeah, coming up the garden, up the steps to the patio in front of the first pond. And yeah, look at all that, all overgrown, needs cutting, but never mind. Oh, and then I was interrupted by the Ring camera alerted me, and they brought these leaflets that are putting through doors, and it was about Binky that had gone missing. They'd moved in very recently, so it was great meeting the family. Their roots were in mainland China, and anyhow, Toadie was saying, what's that all about? I don't know whether he's be friendly. And then Samantha's bright idea, well, why don't we check out the amenity area? And it's a little while since we walked round there. And of course it's such a massive area, even if Binky did go in there, it would be quite difficult to find her. And so, yeah, a few snaps there, including the entrances to the tunnels, well sealed up. That's the top area. And yeah, the picnic was the last event in there earlier in the year. And work our way round, and it didn't take long to find out, yes, that's where they moved in, 23D. And that one is directly behind us. So Binky may have simply come over the fence, or might do that. So we're working our way back, and those padlocks are a blooming nuisance. Yeah, we changed those for better ones, and then somebody changed them back again. But not to worry, back in there watching tennis from Ningbo, which I checked is across the bay from Shanghai, not far away. Looks like I'm down to the village to eat in the blend and brew. And where next? Yeah, popped into the Comrades Club, spent some time relaxing there and interacting with the people in there, including young whatever his name was, counting beer mats. And yes, that's probably later in the evening, I guess. Yes, it was. Met those two guys. And yeah, back home, and that's pretty well there, I think. Yes, there's Lady. Hello, Lady. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 18th of October 2025. Starting with Lady watching tennis on the television. It wasn't bad enough having two women in the house obsessed with doing that. Anyhow, here's the photos in the order shot, starting with Lady, Michelle's pussycat, with the Gollywogs in the lounge, one of her favourite spots to relax. And then the garden, yeah, early afternoon. Was that 13 degrees centigrade? Not too bad. And my usual routine, taking a few snaps down the garden and doing things like topping up bird feeders and things like that, checking that everything is as it should be. Yeah, so ponds have been filling up, water's flowing down through the ponds into the bog garden area. Yes, there's the 4 candles down the end. And yes, So usual routine, hard work of course. I've got all that walking to do because I've just turned the tap off, so there's plenty enough water in there. And yes, coming back to the patio, bit untidy but not too bad. And there's Lady, and looks like listening to the Radio 4 news. June has got Lady with her in the kitchen. Hello Lady. And watching tennis from Stockholm, Sweden of course. And there's Lady, there's the picture that I used at the front. And there's Toadie coming for, well, probably lunch, would that be? And yes, they get on okay together, just about. Tend to do, so time to go down to the village. I'm guessing that'll probably be to have lunch. Yes, past the Robin's Corner, down through the High Street. Oh yes, that's a date for the diary. Not for another month yet. Into the Blend and Brew. Yes, late lunch there. And then into the Comrades Club. Yes, there was horse racing from Ascot on at the time. Very few pictures taken, but even often very interesting conversations and things happening. Making my way back home. And yes, there's Snoopy the Viking on the robot boat. Nothing done on that for months. Some would say years. And yes, look like they're rustling up lunch. Oh yes, that's the Ring camera picking up my movements, leaving and coming back. And yes, back here. And yes, hello Lady. Yes, don't work too hard. Yes, had a bit of a doze. All then woke up. And what woke me up? Oh, it was June going out. Looks like with the one of the bins. That's the problem with those cameras. They wake you up. Can't set them to not go off. Oh right. So topping up the peanut feeders at the front porch. And yes, Toadie's patrolling around. And that one at the top pond. Oh, look at the grapes. Yeah, they're coming along nicely. Have to harvest those sometime. Now, just an opportunity to remind you how bad that's been like that for years. And it's on the list of things to do, but it's a matter of you do what you can at the necessary time. Some of these things are driven by weather. When's that going to be done, I wonder? Oh, it'd be nice if we do it before Christmas. Coming up to 5 o'clock in the evening. Well, late afternoon. And yes, all boring stuff, but it's just a snapshot of what the garden was like on that day. A few leaves coming down, but still not a lot because we haven't had our first frost yet. Not much change down there. Oh yes, now the bird feeders need to be topped up again. So the birds, and I found it's the little ones, tits and sparrows and things, if there are any sparrows, and they gobble up the bird feed very, very quickly. Right, off down to the village. Now, that must be to eat, I would imagine. Yes, so down through the high street, and where's it going to be tonight? Well, possibly La Sorrentina, but more likely the Flame Kebab, yes. There's the picture of Istanbul, and there's my usual routine. Cheeseburger, then cross into the Comrades Club. Lovely time there chatting, and it wasn't till, very late, approaching midnight, that I got home. And, yes, into the house. And, yes, Lady was still around. And, yes, check things out. And, yes, we're back here. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 19th of October 2025. Yes, that's Toadie, our pussycat, sat on guard duty on the rear patio. And now the photos in the order shot. Yes, walking down the end of the garden and checking the usual things in terms of basically anything different, and mostly topping up the bird feeders, 5 of them. Coming back up the top, yes, there's Toadie relaxing, and yes, not too bad, just over 12 degrees centigrade temperature. Yes, hello Toadie. Yes, I decided, because we had rain forecast, I'd leave the pond where it normally drops by, well, whatever it is, best part of 4 inches perhaps. And there's the rain radar forecasting the rain coming in. So it was already a little bit damp, but more expected during the afternoon. And there's Lady, Michelle's cat, watching television while Toadie comes in for lunch. Hello Lady. Oh, that's a bit of AI produced pussycat. And that's looking at the rain again. Yeah, so time to take a walk down to the village to eat, but take the brolly this time. It wasn't really raining then, and it wasn't until I got down there that it started to come through. Yes, looks like they've got some closure coming up. Into the blend and brew. Enjoyed my nice meal with, yeah, bacon and smoked salmon, as well as the scrambled egg on toast. And then the Comrades Club. Very few photos taken that day, but in the evening into the La Sorrentina, yes, for Tricolore and also Arancini. Yes, and down to one stop to get some cash in the rain, but the brolly made a difference. Oh, and then he forced me to have a little, yes, oh, I did have the cheesecake, and there we are, settling up. There's a record of what was paid, including a tiny tip. Into the Comrades Club, all time there, enjoyable conversations, and then, yeah, better go back home, I suppose. Yes, back to 22 Armitage Court, and yes, they're watching television, and anybody interested could say, well, where's Robin? Oh, he's got Homeward K, just here. And this lady decided to come and join me. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 20th of October 2025. Not many photos taken that day, but yes, that's lady watching tennis on television at the back end of the day. All looks like I'm having lunch at the Blend and Brew. And then in the Comrades Club, yes, no real photographs, but lots of conversations. And yeah, back in the Blend and Brew. Probably went in there for a coffee again. And, well, you've got to do something. And into the Comrades Club again. Oh, looks like I'm maybe on my way home. Yes, I did visit home, see if anything special had happened. And, yeah, we've been watching tennis on the television, of course. Looks like I'm deciding to go off again. And looks like I'm not sure whether they're just back or just off on tennis. Off to tennis, I think. And, yeah, looks like I'm off down into the village and into the Raj Vuj. Look at that, yes, onion barges and poppadoms, and then back up. I love that. Well, I'm not quite sure what you call that, a sculpture of the thief. Very popular design for clothes, that seems, those stripes. And back home. Yes, I noticed that little gnome had been moved round from without his bottom pointing at the visitors, so I'd put it back as it should be. Got back home here, and there's lady watching tennis on the television. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 21st of October 2025. Yes, there's Michelle, cat lady with Combat Stress, the Veterans Mental Health Charity mug. And yes, not many photos taken, but it looks like lunch in the Brendan Brew. and into the Comrades Club. Yes, quite a lot of time in the Comrades Club that day. And yeah, back home, and well, wasn't a lot of work to do at home really, just touching bases on things, including guard cat Toady. Yes, he was awake then, normally asleep. There's Lady, and there's Toady and Lady together in the kitchen with June. Yes, watching tennis some of the time and taking an interest in that. Yes, right time, right place, right care. Variation on another motto. And yeah, down into the village, obviously get in later, past La Sorrentina into the Flame. And yes, had my usual there, cheeseburger, into the Comrades Club, time spent there. And I had a few messages coming from both Juba, yes, hi Juba, and Adriano. So, I will say that Juba treated me to a cheesecake. I couldn't do it the other way round, apparently. Yeah. And back home, there's Toady guarding the rackets. Anyhow, that's the end of the photo trail. So that's it. Wednesday, the 22nd of October 2025. That's Michelle's cat Lady relaxing at the end of the evening. Very few photos shot that day, but lots of information exchanged at places. Well, yes, La Sorrentina for Arancini, and yeah, one or two snaps there. And yes, just a record of what Robin spent and what he ate. And yeah, so that was La Sorrentina. Then in the Comrades Club, most of the day was spent in those places. Raining, of course. Didn't get too wet going home. And yeah, back into the house. Yeah, June's there with the pussycats, watching tennis on the TV. Lady reading that tablet, I think. And a bit blurred, that picture. So, time for bed. Thursday, the 23rd of October 2025. Yes, that looks like Robin having a coffee in the Flame Cafe. Now the photos in the order that they were shot, there weren't that many. Yes, there's rainwater on the... Oh yes, it's like Richard and Stuart have arrived to provide chauffeur service for pub lunch at the Cricketers at Packshot. Enjoyable meal, conversations there. And then back home, I pop in to check a few things, like emails and things. And yes, and there's Toady on sentry duty in the games room. Yes, and Lady in the same room. And yes, so do my necessary jobs there. And thought, right, across the road up to Richard and Faye's to have coffee and chats. So up there, yes, no photos, but right, 10 to 5, back home, and hard work continues. And yes, there's Snoopy's robot boat. No work on that for several years now. And looks like 10 to 5. Oh yes, check the trackers and things. Ah, June's with Balbansal down in the village. Yeah, looking at the rain, looks like we've got a fair bit of rain coming in the evening. So that affects what I do, but I take a risk without the brolly. And down to the village. And probably went into the Comrades Club. Yeah, so it's quite a few visits during the day, quite a lot of time spent there. And it looks like I had to go down to one stop, got some cash, then into the Flame. And I probably just had a coffee there. And where popped in again, probably for a meal a bit later. Yes, there we go, the usual cheeseburger. Then into the Comrades Club. You can see it's getting darker, so quite a lot of hours were spent down in the village. Back home, yes, you was watching tennis on television, and ladies watching it too. And Ladies Michelle's pussycat, if you didn't know. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was. Time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 24th of October 2025. No photos shot by Robin that day, but this one was shot by Adriano from La Sorrentina, across the road from the Blend and Brew where Robin was sat having coffee. And so Robin threatened to set little Milo passing at the same time with his grandparents on Adriano. So that's the end of the photo trail. I warned you they'd be long photo trails, and so let's go back into the house before we run into that material that was shot, as I say, probably a couple of years ago. So I'll start from here. Yes, I quite like that Renoir. Quite a nice, expensive Renoir, isn't it? But yeah, so that's it. Still got tennis on the television. So I think that other material started at about here. Now, what I put on the screen, because global warming is in itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels, to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired, happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months. If it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes. That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worried for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well, but as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday. That'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge. So to wrap up this video, walking out. So, if I can work out how to use this smartphone, don't think I can. Only remains to say, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we can.